Welcome, everyone. This is Five Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Sazwinda.
Hello.
And Krister.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. And this week we have received the word that on Wednesday, Bulwer is expected to open with the Brawler and Legendary item testing so that we can now have our first look at it, except for those people in Palantir who've already had their first look. But this will be the first open test of it so that everyone has a chance to see what this new class is like, and we can also have a look at the new Legendary items. And it looks like the plan is
to this.
Yes. To the Brawler or to the Legendary items?
I am looking forward to seeing both and testing them on Bulwer.
All right.
I'm hoping I will still be looking forward to both after this, but right now I'm looking forward to seeing them both and testing them on Bulwer.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see what people's initial impression of Brawler is. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yes, we want to know what everybody thinks about it, and do they work? Is everybody excited to see if these new Legendary item system is better?
I'm interested to see it. But I'm reserving my judgment.
Well, of course, we can't have our judgment until, well, at least until after we see the initial rollout in there. Maybe after a couple of tests or something like this, we might have a good enough impression on what they are planning. And I'm sure that some of us will provide some really nice feedback if there are any things that we think could be improved. But anyway, that will be the public opening of Bulwer is currently planned for Wednesday, assuming that nothing really goes wrong between now and then. And staying soon is also announced that the Battle of the Blackgate soundtrack is now available on YouTube. So you could listen to Update 20's music, which includes A Land in Ruin, Sorrows of the Past, Unending Evil, The Lonely Waste, Mordor Triumphant, Shadows of the Dark Lord, The Blackgate, Pursuing the Enemy, No Other Way, Uneven Odds, and Oppressive Darkness. And many of these pieces are composed by Bill Champagne, who is the in-studio composer for most of the soundtracks these days. And what's happened is on the ones done by Bill Champagne, a lot of them have been re-recorded and tweaked a little bit because he's gained a great deal of experience since he originally did the Blackgate soundtrack, so polished it up a little bit so that we could have a new and improved version with the opening of the Legendary servers. Now, this also includes a few soundtracks that were done by other composers. 3 of them were done by Matthew Hardwood, and there are also some compositional appearances of themes that were composed by Chance Thomas. So we have all of that in there inside of our latest soundtrack for LOTRO. So you can listen to that over on YouTube. And with that, let's head into LOTRO Beacon 218. It looks like this week's, though, is not from the Blackgate, not from Mordor, and not from the latest content, but instead is from the Door to Moria, most likely because the Shadowfax just entered into there. I know. Horses don't belong in Moria, right?
True.
They can fit.
Might be an exception. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Also, that looks so inviting.
It does,
What?
actually. It looks like a very friendly door.
It looks like a very friendly door. Like, what could possibly go wrong just walking through there? Man.
Or riding your horse through there.
Yeah, even reading the runes here, it says speak friend and enter, right?
Right.
Actually, no, that's yeah, speak friend and enter. Yes. So nothing can go wrong. Let's then head into the community spotlights. Deco de Malou has released a list of winners from their 5th anniversary contest, and you could read more about that over in their blog, where they had their lots of, let's see, talk about the various prizes that they have in there, and you can get the full details over on their site. And last week, we announced that our podcast is now available on Amazon Music and Audible. And you can find that over on Amazon Music. There's a link for that in the beacon. And we had a couple of other things, events that have, alas, already passed. So let's head into Arcane Hall. Barely an Inconvenience is an Arkenstone-based kinship with a big sense of humor working together to succeed at endgame content. The kinship has their own Discord, Island Kin House, and more. You can get more information over on the kinship forums. So here's the question of the week. There are fewer topics likely to create an argument among the Hobbit folk than the topic of
good footwear.
Now, I was thinking, who makes the best pies?
That would be an argument I would love to help solve.
Well,
I will taste all the pies.
Yes. I have a feeling there are a few people who might not be voting for Holly Hornblower at the moment.
Well, I think they already established who made the worst pies that time.
Well, if they're looking to establish that again, I'll throw my hat in the ring.
Yes. Any suggestions over from the chat? Pork or beef?
Because the answer to that is, why not both?
And
why not both?
And Guerra says the size of taters seems to cause quarrels.
Size of taters seems to cause squirrels? Quarrels!
That would be awesome.
I think that's the point
quarrels.
At which we scold you, finally.
Why are there so many squirrels here? What's the size of your taters? Obviously, look at those taters.
Oh, why? Because they think their taters are bigger, or
probably bigger, tastier.
Yeah, the great thing about pork pies, you can also wear them as hats. All right. Yeah, so they apparently like to argue about things like footwear, about taters, about food. I would say about who gets the mushrooms.
What about what the smoke object I just blew actually is? You know, like when I'm smoking my pipe and I blow it, and then like I think it looks like a sailing ship, you think it looks like Margaret Thatcher, you know? And so then we start arguing about it. Only if we were hobbits, of course. No.
I could see that, and I think that they should have arguments over the results of the pigs judging the local farmers. I mean, really. That would cause arguments in any community.
Yeah?
Who makes the best tater salad?
Well, that might be whoever gets the biggest taters.
I think
do
it's
you need
whoever
small
uses
taters?
pineapple.
With that, we head into the fan site news. Wondering about Arda puts together an outfit for Vanna the Ever Young, and you could see their newest look over on the blog. Right, and showing off all the little parts of the outfit, and we have a circlet from the Farmers Fair Festival, shoulders from Dole Amroth, and a chest piece and back piece from the Midsummer Festival.
She found the perfect place to frame that shot too, because that background's very complimentary.
Yes, do you know where it's at? I guess that means no.
No, yeah.
And then Squirrel writes about the idea of doing it over again in LOTRO. And you can read about that in Reincarnation in LOTRO on LOTRO Players News. Oh, yes, that's... Oh, they included that before I had a chance to talk about it in the regular show notes. Okay, and last week we jumped into a lake. And LOTRO Stream is your first stop where I find LOTRO on Twitch this week. Beneath your feet finds cowbells and death sky manic journeys in the Barrow Downs, and Druid's Fire tracks down a mysterious door. Ooh. And also on Twitch, Ettenberg starts the journey, Mr. Derif witnesses history, and Zagog completes Rohan. And over on YouTube, Holly Bear has video from a recent Department of Harmony and Song concert. Paulsome Catastrophe has ambience from Evendem, and Napiet Gaming tells you how to get all the bags. All the bags?
All the carry-alls?
Yeah, that's the question is. Oh, how to get all the bags. Well,
the carry-alls was my first thought, but then I remembered that your inventory is originally split up into bags.
Yeah.
And you don't start with all of them unlocked. I mean, my characters do now, but they didn't.
I guess that's...
Oh, boy.
That at least more literally follows what the words are. And let's head into our screenshot of the week, where the Gallic Frogs Band and Habitants de True kinships gather for the honeymoon of Arlwyn and Verkigetric in this week's screenshot. Thank you, Circe from Saranid, for sending it in. You can submit your screenshot for consideration by emailing at lotro@sandstonegames.com. And Sam Burke is reminding us that Department of Harmony and Song, and how is that relevant, Sam? Less than head.
I just read about it. Holly Berry has a video from a recent Department of Harmony and Song concert.
Oh, okay. Yes, all right. Because I'm looking at the screenshot of the week, and so okay. All right, so slightly delayed in there. Well, that Sam stays up pretty late in order to listen to us, since he is a few time zones ahead of us. Let's head into our store sales. And Krister, would you like to read store sales this week?
Oh, let's see. All right, so the big news is I can't operate my computer. Here we go. So first, with the big thing is the double bonus points are back, so that's what I seriously consider spending some money. And that is through September 12th. Also available for a limited time is Bond vs. Bounty. It's also the LOTRO store through the 12th. It gives you 400 mythical coins, Squirrels plus 5,000 enhanced reputation supply, rapid crafting boosts, and 100% crit boosts.
Well, those last two are going to be wonderful if you're using Wenda's thing.
Well, and does the rapid crafting boost stack with the jug, with the VIP reward?
The jug goes so fast, how would you tell?
Well,
Okay,
I think
actually, you can tell. And it overrides the jug from Winda. And how you can tell is that it only lasts for 1 minute, it goes faster than the jug does, and you cannot move while it is active. So even if you try to jump or walk around, or you decide you didn't actually want to craft what you started crafting, it won't let you go.
Okay, because that would have been cool just to have the stack appear. That's so fast, just doesn't even. All right, and so also you can make your piece of Middle Earth shine. They also have 20% off select housing decorations, select housing sets, housing property writs, select cloaks, and that's through September 9th. And then the weekly coupon is for a free morale bubble potion times 5. The coupon code is more morale, and that is good through September 9th as well.
All right. Thank you. Sam seems to be lamenting that it's 3 a.m. where he is and it's dark outside. That's the... I think he was so loving it a couple of months ago when it was midnight and it was light outside. Let's then head into our site news, where, as we mentioned earlier, Squirrel wrote an article about reincarnation in LOTRO, talking about possibilities with that. And if you're wondering, what does he mean by this? In another game is put out by Standing Stone Games, they have this concept of reincarnation where you could take your character and then, well, there are different levels of reincarnation. One of them is just to make tweaks to what your character are, what classes they have, and stuff like that, which doesn't work really well that in LOTRO, because LOTRO doesn't have multi-classing and the like. But they also had something, when you hit level 20, you could do something called true reincarnation. And when you have true reincarnation, you just have your character start out from the beginning again with a little bit of a bonus. And in fact, there are some players who seek a title called completionist, and that is to play every single class at least once with a reincarnated character. So they go all the way, get to full level, then go back and now do it with another class, with another class, with another class.
Wow.
So yeah, that is part of the way things work in DDO, where some players worry about having a top level character and keeping them and working them in the high end rates and that, and some of them just take a character, get the full level, and then reincarnate the character, and you get a little bit of a bonus to your stats whenever you do it. And you also have some feats that you get when you do this. I haven't done much in the way of reincarnation, but one of the reasons why some players in the other game sometimes encounter things very easy in some of the dungeons and get through the quotes so quick. I'm wondering, how are they getting to that dungeon at that level so easily? It's, they reincarnated their character 20 times, so they have all these bonuses stacked up from earlier.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. So there's no upper limit on how many times somebody can reincarnate?
I have no idea what limit. Well, I think there might be diminishing returns once you get to past a certain point.
The incredible amount of time you have put into
yes.
rebuilding your character over and over and over again.
Yes, that's... So there are some things that you might... Because when you do a true reincarnation, all of your stuff that you have is put into a special reincarnation vault and held there until you pull it out. So you might have some items that you acquired along the way that you might be able to reuse. So yeah, it's a very strange system in there. And as I said, I've only done it a couple of times myself, and I have no character that's... I don't think I've ever had a character that's reincarnated more than once.
It's kind of a curious thing to think about, too, because you feel like it could be something conceptually that can be justified in Lord of the Rings, because we have Gandalf going away as the Grey and coming back as the White, and so there's that purification or that reset that could occur.
Yeah. So Squirrel is speculating on possibilities of doing that in LOTRO. Or maybe not in the exact same way, but thinking about how would it work in it. And how to do this. Because right now, most people are starting over, they usually either they go to a legendary server and start over there, or just start a new alt and run out of character slots. But being able to build on your previous character,
without deleting that character outright and deleting all the gear
and instead there could be some certain skills that are there based on memories of past lives or something like that. It's probably a little bit more of a stretch in LOTRO than it is in DDO, but he was just speculating on possibilities there. Now let's speculate on what we did last week. And Christopher, what were you up to?
Well, this Friday, we almost had the full night of our kin assembled after a long and lazy summer, and we it's kind of how my kin sets itself up for failing spectacularly. But we did Fall of Khazad-dûm last night on T1 again, and we only had to fill one position last night, so we almost had folk in there. And I had complaints the entire time we were doing about how easy it was, how T1 was just a breeze and blah blah, and we wiped 3 times. So it wasn't that much of a breeze, but everybody was talking about doing T2. Nobody has done it. So now that everybody was talking about how easy T1 is, I know that we're just setting ourselves up to get... I'm preparing my cushions to so that I can take a seat without my hiney hurting too much, because I know it's going to get kicked profusely this next Friday. So I will be able to report on how our T2 experience goes. I think it's going to go... I'm just joking, really. I think it's going to go okay, because a lot of people are very serious about understanding the tactics now. And, of course, we have a lot of people that have done it before us. So we have some people that are doing some research on all the triggers and traps. We've gotten pretty good about moving when we need to move during particular phases. So we just need to build all that. Yeah. So nervous and excited, because this is where we start to see how everybody's doing in terms of their training. And of course our teamwork, a little rusty after the summer, but I'm looking forward to a true test of it. So and then I'm, like I said earlier, and I figured we were going to bring it up anyways, is that this Crawler's going to be released. I'm really curious to see what that's about, and kind of interested. I don't know if you guys are actually thinking about Sans. It sounds like you're actually going to go and play it, right, on Horror.
I'm hoping to, yes. It depends on if I can get home in time while Bull Roar is up. But my plan is to do so.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna look forward to your feedback on that, and then it's been playing Ark in Minecraft and Ark, and having a lot of fun with that on vacation here. The Minecraft, I just love the fact that we've learned how to trap Nethermen in boats, and it's such a trivial thing to do now. You can just go collect, a couple stacks of Ender Pearls if you want to, just on a lazy day, have a baguette, take a nice bike ride, trap 75 Nethermen, take their pearls.
Well, if all goes well, I might be able to find get us an even easier way of doing it.
Well, just to see what's being built too. Sans with her massive constructions there, it's blowing my mind. So just having a blast on the gaming front, all said and done, and looking forward to T2 next week. Sans, what did you get up to this week?
Wait, before you go past that, I heard you learned to scoop up dinosaurs in Ark. How did this turn out, Krister?
Well, of course, I got the mod in Ark for the flying rafts, and I build ships all the time. And I mean, I've built ships for decades in various programs and in various modeling things that you can buy, like Legos, for instance. And so I, of course, became obsessed with building these flying ships. So I built this big giant ramp on my ship. And then I found if I could, because you basically can pass through the terrain with the scoop. So I could lower it underneath the terrain and then slowly come up. If I do it just right, the dinosaur will glitch onto my ramp, and then I can fly off with it. And then, so what I would do is when I was taming something, I would try to scoop it up in there, and then I'd rise up into the air safe, and then I'd knock it out and tame it. Well, my first experience with the thing that's even worse than the T-Rex on that island, that's the one I scooped up, and it almost completely destroyed my ship, destroyed everything in it. The only reason I lived was because I was in creative mode.
There's something worse than a T-Rex?
Yes. Oh, it is so bad. And if I don't know, I've pumped it full of tranq darts and it didn't go down. So I don't know what you need to do to tame it. But I think it's the worst thing. It's like a Gigasaurus or something, a Gigasaur. But it was so hysterical that I actually trapped it. I was excited. And then it almost completely destroyed me and ruined everything I'd ever built in that game. But I had a blast. So that was, yeah. So I've almost got the scoop down. However, it's a dangerous tool, Sans.
So I was totally ready to start trying to build one of those, and then I saw what you had caught, and I was like, I've never even seen one of those while playing.
But that flying mod, the flying mod for Ark is the flying rafts is so much fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. That's the one I was getting ready to try that on. I was like, wow, he managed to scoop up animals. This sounds awesome. So I might have to try that still. I'll try to be careful what I scoop up, though.
Excellent.
This week in LOTRO, I ran around dwelling in a lore master group. And they say that lightning doesn't strike twice. Well, I can confirm that lightning struck much more than twice in that group. There were, 5 or 6 of us, lore masters, running around striking things with lightning. It was awesome. There was also plenty of fire, several tar pits that we opened up. It was awesome. Just a little bit of lag on a couple of occasions.
Legions of creatures.
Legions of creatures. Each of us had a creature. And they all looked different from each other, which was pretty fun too. So, yeah. Definitely a fun time there as we tried to learn our skills and then complained when we couldn't get our inductions off because everything was already dead. Which can happen when you've got a group that size. But it was fun. And I tamed a Brontosaurus in Ark while playing solo in survival mode for the first time. So
excellent.
Cool. And I almost failed because I shot it a couple of times, and then while it was trying to figure out how to get to me, I started running backwards. But I ran into a rock that I couldn't see behind me because I was running backwards, and I was still shooting at the Brontosaurus with the tranq arrows, and then when I figured out that there was the rock and I started to go around it, 3 compies attacked me.
Ouch.
And so I'm attacking them, and like while I'm attacking them, the Brontosaurus runs up and headbutts me, and I was like, this is gonna end poorly. So then I start.
Was that a rock as in a solid mineral, or a rock as in a giant bird?
A solid mineral that I could not run through.
Okay.
So I had to run around. And so I turned around and I sprinted away from it, and I turned back and I started shooting the Brontosaurus again, and I ran into another rock behind me. And I got around that one too. And I kept running backwards, and I ran back up and over the trap that I used for the Triceratops and kept shooting it. And then I got stuck in the trap because I wanted to keep going straight out, and I couldn't go straight out, and I had to go to the side. And then the Brontosaurus just walked all over the trap, and it was fine, and kept going after me. And tail swiped me, and I kept shooting it, and then it turned to run away, and then it fell down, and I put berries into its inventory to tame it, and discovered it was like level 6. So I didn't feel quite as cool, but it still took.
I was going to say it took a long time, right?
Yeah, it still took more than half of the trink arrows that I had, and I had like 50 some in my inventory at that time. So,
what would it take then to tame a Diplodocus?
I don't know.
I don't think they're as bad. I don't think they're.
They're not as bad? Okay.
So that was a pretty good adventure, though. And I started making a gold farm in Minecraft, which isn't the best job for someone who's not overly fond of heights, I discovered. But it's more than half done, so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, hopefully it will produce lots of gold, and then I can make lots of powered rails, and we can have.
It's impressive. You did an impressive job.
Thank you.
Fast rail travel.
We'll see how that goes.
See, the dogs are even praising you. I mean, the dogs even understand how impressive you are.
Yeah, the dogs are like. Either that or they just want me to be done already. Pay attention on it. No, finally, how was your week?
Alright. In my week, my honor warden pushed over several anvils that weigh probably more than maybe even the heaviest hobbit.
Whoa.
You know those anvils in Udun that you had to push over during the Black Book of Mordor?
Yeah.
And they're larger than the average hobbit, it feels like. How am I supposed to get that thing pushed over? I have absolutely no idea. I just must have some wonderful skills at leverage. Then I started a new DDO character, and I ran through the Borderlands and also investigated a haunted house. Then I raided a ship. So I'm just getting started on there, just between Keep of the Borderlands and starting on the Sinister Secret of Salt Marsh. And over in Minecraft, I built several bridges. That way we could have a little bit better navigation in going to our stronghold where we could go to the end. Because whenever I was going to the end before, I always had headaches and trying to get in and out and trying to navigate around the village when you had this nice, wonderful water route that was unfortunately blocked because we had all these pontoon bridges there. So I built some bridges that actually went above the river's height so that we could just go under them in a boat. That way it'd be really, really nice to work with. And over on that, I also had to take care of another problem and that is every time I go to that area, I always got lost. So I also built some buoys going back and forth so that I could head back and forth without getting lost and be able to find the village. Is now I can get there very, very quickly instead of taking 20 minutes, spending most of the time lost trying to find the place. And that concludes my week in gaming. So let's head into our News Beyond LOTRO, where Darren Loremaster has posted a second version of his Minas is the Wallpaper, where it's the same poem as last time, but a new background with it. So he usually posts several versions of this whenever he does one of his poems. And that's it for the News Beyond LOTROs. Our top supporter this month is LOTROBuild.com. This is a collection of full LOTRO databases, which includes an items database, a relics database, and a titles database. Also, you can use it right from Discord from LOTROBuild bot. We currently have 16 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, you can go to the donations page. You can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money would be used for podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. If you wish to support us without joining Patreon, you could send a message to Drac at lotrplayers.com. We did not receive any emails, so if you like since when you can send it to podcast at lotrplayers.com. You also Twitter, Players Alliance at Players Ally, Lotra Players at Lotra Players, Arendis at Arendis, Pining Fit, Pining Needle, Senswinda at Senswinda, Terry-Edwin at Terry-Edwin, Guarendis at Guarendis, Calabathian at Calabathian, and Krister is trapping Endermen in boats.
The love boat.
The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. They have DDO Players News. And on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotra Players News. You can join our shows at lotraplayers.com/live. And remember that Lotra Players News podcast is now found on Amazon Music and Audible. That is all for tonight, and this is Pipe Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.